Good evening. Welcome to yet another edition of my daily broadcast. As you come in, please leave a comment. Please like. Let me know that you're there. Let me get your reaction to what I am sharing today. So I'll go right on and talk about what we have today. The topic for today is God will draw them out. God will draw them out. Now, what do I mean by God will draw them out? And the rider to that topic is that there are three categories of people God will draw out. So I want you to sit back for the next 15 minutes, watch and learn, understand the three categories of people that God is going to draw out. So what do I mean by God is going to draw them out? Now, here's the thing. I will use the story of Moses when he was about leading the children of Israel from Egypt. He had encounters with Pharaoh and the children of Egyptians, and he had constantly and consistently manifested the power of God. And finally, they were leaving. Finally they were to leave. And so in that story, there were three categories of people that I saw that God drew out there. And those are the three categories of people that God will usually draw out when he takes you to wherever it is he's taking you, or when he starts that journey. Maybe he has shown you that he's going to make you a person of influence. He has shown you that you are going to lead a big crowd, or you have dreamt of how, you led, you're over a big congregation. You're over a big number of people, or of great influence over people, and it is time for you to move them from one place to the other. That is like the same way Moses moved the children of Israel from Egypt going to the promised land. And so when that happens and you begin that journey into the promised land, that God actually gives you the victory to carry, and begin that journey into the very beautiful place that he has promised for you. There are three categories of people that are going to come out. First, they are going to be the friends of God. I call them his friends. Now, those that are his friends are those who, before Moses came to Egypt, there are those who had known God in their own personal dealings with God. And they were Egyptians, not Israelites. But they had some, maybe through dreams, maybe through encounter with other people, maybe through encounter with Israelites. They already had, a private relationship with God. They have become his friends, even though they were not Israelites. The moment that Moses began to take the children of Israel out of Egypt, they opted to live with them. They identified with them, even though before now they were not known as children of God. They were not known as Israelites, people of God. But from that moment that they were going to be living, they were ready to be, they were ready to identify with God. Some of them, it's even the calamities that happened, all the calamities and that befell, Egypt at the time that God was trying to force Pharaoh to let his people go. Those are the same calamities drew them nearer to God. They realized that there is a powerful God here, and they identified with God, identified with the children of Israel when they were going to leave. So the first category of people that are going to be drawn when God starts to do that which he promised in your life, they are his friends. They will come and offer you help. They will come and give what they have to you. They will come and want to be with you. They will identify with you, and they are ready to do anything with you because they have seen the hand of God on you. They are his friends. They will come to you. It's not you that is doing it. It's God himself that is drawing them out. The moment they see God in your life, the moment they see that it is God indeed that is doing that which is about to do in your life, they are going to come out. You know, so it's going to be your joy that they come out. It's not about what you're doing. It's not about what you've done right or done wrong. It's because they are his friends and they are immediately going to come out. They are the ones that will give mightily into your project. They will do anything, you know, to identify with you, you know, because they know in identifying with you, they identify with God. Number two, there is enemies. You see, God does not easily take someone to be his enemy. He gives everyone enough time because he doesn't even want anyone to perish. But there are those that even after, you know, people like Pharaoh, that even after he constantly and consistently showed his power to Pharaoh, he still had the guts to fight the children of Israel. He still had the guts to stand against the will of God. You know, taking the children of Israel out of Egypt was the will of God. And Pharaoh already knew it. And Pharaoh already saw all the signs. You know, but he still thought, I mean, Pharaoh and his cohorts and those that followed him, you know, merely looking at the children of Israel, who they had oppressed for so many years, he just had the feeling and had the boldness to feel like he could keep them. Why? Because he felt, look, these guys, I mean, they have always been under us. Who are they? You know, so they felt that they could easily, they felt like they were easy prey. Even though God had shown them such mighty things, you know, because of these guys, they still felt that they were easy prey. Those are the people that God does not joke with when dealing with them, because it's obvious that even in spite of everything, they still choose to be the enemy of God. You know, they still choose to be the enemy of God in spite of everything. You know, because as I said in one of these teachings, I said, no, God does not, people don't easily become God's enemies. But when they consistently stand against his will, when he gives them all the opportunities to see his mighty wonders and repent, and they still refuse, they have now known that there is a God. Yes, there is God that is mighty, and they know that his power is much more than theirs, yet they still decide to go against him. Then God has no choice but to say, these ones are my enemies, and they are never going to be convinced. And then God will, you know, just as he did with Pharaoh, he will draw them out. Yes, they will be drawn out, but to their perdition. They will be drawn out to their perdition. After God will have shown that you are his own, after he shows that indeed he's with you, after it is manifest to them, even though they've done everything to bring you down, after it becomes, you know, obvious to even the blind that God is with you, they will still come after you. Those ones are his enemies, because now it's no longer about because they didn't know what you were about. It's not because they didn't know that in actual fact this woman or this man is an innocent man. He's fully for God. He's this and that. Even after knowing that, they still will come after you. And those are the ones that will perish, just like Pharaoh perished in the Red Sea. They are going to think that it is easy to now bring you down, because now you started a journey. You know, when God starts with you, they are going to think it's very easy to bring you down. They will now come after you because you are going somewhere. You are going to the promised land. They will now come seriously after you. Those set of people that will come after you, they are his enemies. Then he will deal with them. You be still and hold your peace. You know, he's going to deal with them because they still choose to do that evil against you, even after he has shown that indeed I am with this person, and I am the one that is taking her or him into the place. Now, the third category of people that you are going to see are his new converts, his new babies. You know, these ones, they may not come with you immediately. They may not, if you want to do it, they may give to you their gold, just like in Egypt. When Moses was going to go, you know, the Lord said he should ask of everyone gold and everything. And they gave their gold, gave everything, but they did not leave Egypt. They did not leave Egypt. They did not leave where they were. They did not have that boldness to do like his friends, who, even though they were not Israelites, they joined their, you know, they left everything and joined themselves to the Israelites. Why? They joined themselves to the Israelites because they saw that, look, this God, we have known him before. I have heard about him. I have seen all the signs, and I will follow. I will no longer identify with this with my former way of life. I am going to become one with his children. I want to be his people. Those ones are his friends. But these ones, they are just new babes. It's like it's all the wonders he's going to do through you. All the beautiful things they are going to see God do through you. That is going to win them over to God. They have become his friends, but look, they are still babes, and they are not going to follow you to do everything. Don't be angry that even though they are seeing all the things God is doing with you, they are not rushing in, to come with you. They may be your neighbors. They may be, people that, you are thinking as they are seeing all the things God is doing with you, as they are seeing how, they should just pack everything and follow you. And they will be like, no, they will just stay back and be looking at you. They wish you well. They bid you well. They even contribute to your going, but they will not go with you. Do not worry. These ones are for a special time. If you look at the story of that story of Moses taking the children of Israel out of Egypt, you realize that, look, at that point, Egyptians were worshipping idols, only idols, but afterwards, Egypt became a country that worships only one God. Worships only one God. So for that to happen, it happened only because Moses had been there. This thing had happened, and it had crushed Egypt. Crushed Egyptians. Seriously, they have dealt with their king so much that their king died and perished in the Red Sea. He left them in Egypt, but he did not leave them the same way. They no longer believed in those idols. They already fell in love with God in their heart. They already saw a God who could withstand all their gods and defeat all their gods. And they were satisfied that this is the God they will worship. But they did not go with Moses. So there will be people who immediately God begins to show the beautiful things in your life, they are with you. They love everything you're doing. They will not go into it fully with you. Please do not disdain them. God has a special work for them. God has a special time for them. It may not be now that you are starting to take your journey into your promised land. It could be that, okay, God is saying, go and vie for something, and you are going to go and contest for something. And the moment you want to go and contest for that position, you expect that everybody that has seen that, yes, things are working for him, God is with him, that they should just jump in with you. Some of them will not jump in with you, even if they support you from their pockets. Some of them will be looking at you. They know that you're going to win, or they believe you're going to win, but they will not put in all their efforts. They won't jump in, but they have been they have seen the hand of God on you, and God has a reason for not making them to follow you. Everyone can't follow you, so they are the new babes who have been converted to Him, who have seen the glory of God in your life, who have seen what God is doing, who can see it and testify to it, but they are for another time. So they are babes in the Lord. They are new converts to His, His manifest glory in your life. They will give their gold. If they have it, they will give it. And then later they will be the bulwark of the work, that is going to be needed to be done on ground later. So as I said, do not take it against them. Now, for you, what is important, the instruction that the Lord will want me to give to you for tonight, which is very important for you, is that do not forget to listen to his instructions. Follow his instructions very well. To get to your promised land, it is very important that you listen to instruction. A very little thing stopped Moses from entering his promised land, and that was the fact that when God said, speak to the rock, he went ahead to strike the rod the way he had struck the rod, the way he was instructed before. You have to, depend on God fully. You have to listen to him. Instructions are very important. If you're going to go, as I said, if for instance, from nowhere God says you are going to become the chairman of your local government, and then he begins, then before you know it, he was looking very hard, then all of a sudden you get the ticket of your party. And then it's time to start this thing. How do you do it? You are just coming into this thing and all that. It is important at that moment to begin to listen very carefully to instruction. What made Moses not to enter the promised land was simply the fact that he did not listen to instruction. In fact, the promised land is not, let me even make a correction here to what I've been saying. The promised land is not even you becoming the chairman. You know, when you become the chairman of that local government, or when you become the VC of, you know, if God promised you that you're going to be the VC, when you become the VC, is like when Moses eventually got Pharaoh to agree that he should take the children of Israel out. That is that time. That is not the entering of promised land. Don't let's make a mistake about that. You know, it is the beginning of the journey into the wilderness. You know, Moses had already finished his own wilderness experience when God took him and then said he should lead the children of Israel into the promised land. So the promised land taking, it will not be you taking the whole of your system, you know, the whole of your university, if you are made a VC, or if you are the chairman, it's how to take your local government to the promised land, how to take your university to the promised land, how to take where God gives you. Now, to many of us, it is when we enter that office, when we become what God has shown us we're going to become, we think we have gotten to the promised land. No, that is the time that Pharaoh has released you, has given you, it has been forced to allow you to take the children of, to take those people that God is putting under your care into the promised land. You know, so it will be time for you to listen keenly to instructions. Don't avoid presumption sin. Don't presume that you already know that what God wants to say to you is what he said before. You can always use the same pattern you used 2 years ago. You can always use the pattern you used when he talked to you the last time. No, rely on him on a daily basis. Thank you very much for being there again. I hope you'll be there tomorrow. I hope to see you. I'm here every day at 8 p.m. Thank you, Oladele Adisa. You've been there all along, and everyone who has been there. Again, hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.